We are continuing on the same chapter 1. So now if you really see that, just a glancing back as what we did. So jivas are classified into two states. So our state depends on how we used our independence. Right? What are the states? Nityam, that is Swabhava, and Anityam, which is Nisarga. So these states also map to Krishna Dasa versus Maya Dasa. They also correspond to Nitya Dharma versus Anitya or Naimitika Dharma. Okay? So these are the words that we really dealt with. Now the happiness or unhappiness, I mean permanent happiness or flickering happiness, that is actually unhappiness. So depend on these two states. If we are situated under the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Krishna as the eternal servant, then we will be eternally happy. Otherwise, we won't be happy eternally, despite some flickering happiness here and there. But in a nutshell, overall, it is only miseries. Those jivas who have forgotten Krishna because of exercising the independence wrongly, they are now caught with the Maya. So I explained it in the last class with the example of the finger and the brain. So from that we can conclude that if a jiva wants to be with Krishna, serving him in Swabhava form, it will be with Krishna as a loving servant. If a jiva does not want to be with Krishna, but try to enjoy independently in Nisarga form, it will be to be away from the abode of Krishna. So this is the reason all the jivas, the Bhatta jivas, those fallen jivas are living in the material world. Because this example is really probably a good way of understanding. Because if a finger does not want to be controlled by or served under the control of the brain, if it does not want to, then how can that be in the body? So it has to be out. Okay, so this is the analogy that we are dealing with, right? But the Nitya Dharma of a jiva is Krishna Dasa only. So Jivera Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nitya Dasa Krishnera Tadastha Sakti Veda Abeda Prakasha. Also it really has more. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 20, verse 108. It also says one more. Suryamsa Kirana Yaiche Agni Jwala Chaya Swabhavika Krishnera Tina Prakara Sakti Haya. So the original nature of Jiva used to be an eternal servant of Sri Krishna. Jiva is the marginal energy of Krishna and a manifestation simultaneously one with and also different from the Lord. How is that compared? Like a molecular particle of sunshine or fire. So we have the sun. Sun is the Lord. And the sunshine, the ray, the light, the photon is the minute. The photon is the jiva. That is an easy example to understand. Or we can understand that Krishna is a big blazing fire, unlimited fire. And the sparks which are actually just in it are like jivas. So there are, but not all the all the examples are perfect because it cannot be closer to the spiritual truth. So this is the way we really understand. Anyway, but the bottom line is, Nitya Dharma of Jiva is Krishna Dasa, and we all came from Tadastha Sakti, that is belong to Krishna only. Krishnere Tadastha Sakti. And because we all came from him, there is abheda, that means there is no difference in terms of quality, because what is the quality of fire is heat and light. So the quality is there, but at the same time, there is a Beda. What is the Beda? Beda means difference. What is the difference between Krishna and the Jivas? Krishna is magnanimous, unlimited, but Jiva is anuchit. So this is how we are actually getting into the rest of this chapter, and we will complete today. Then why some of the living entities are the why they are trapped into Maya? If everything came from Krishna, they expect that when you really manufacture something from the same plant, the product will be similar. But here that is not applicable. Why? Because the product which is really coming has an independence. This is the problem. Because it is Jiva. We are talking about spiritual dimension. So the Tadastha Jivas coming from the belly of Mahavishnu, because of the independence they really have, they can look up or look down. This is their independence. But again, very carefully that we have to understand is, the Jiva has to look either up or down. Actually, in a matter of fact, it does not know. Does not know the repercussion, but there is the independence there. It is exercising. Oh, I have to look up or down. Okay, I will choose this. This is why the example is coming as random seeds are really put on a edge of the sword. So while most of the jivas looked up, they are called unmukha jivas. They all went up to the spiritual sky. The others who looked down, bahirmukha jivas, who fell down to the material sky. Thus the bahirmukha jivas are the ones fell down as they faced their head, and that means the face is away from the spiritual world, away from Krishna, and that is why caught by Maya. There is nothing, because this is again Srishti Leela. The jivas always belong to Krishna. So even though they looked down, they will be back. That is what the whole Srishti Leela is. We have to understand. Everything is under the will of the Lord only, where the jiva's independence is actually a factor in really enhancing this Srishti Leela. So it's very, very, very difficult to understand sometimes. So these jivas facing their head away from Krishna. That means they are actually facing, their face is away from Krishna, is actually mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Matya Leela, chapter 20, 117 verse. Krishna bhuli sei jiva, Krishna bhuli sei jiva, anadir bahir mukha, Krishna bhuli sei jiva, atayeva maya tare, atayeva maya tare, deha samsara dukha, Krishna bhuli sei jiva. This is clearly saying the living entity, the jivas, who have forgotten Sri Krishna. How? This is how they forgotten. They look down. That is coming from the independence of the jivas. So it is suffering in the Maya from when? time immemorial. This is very difficult to understand because this happened beyond the Kala. There is no Kala attached to this. How will you understand this? This Kala is a manifestation from the Lord only. It's not in the spiritual world. So here we have past, present and also future. But there is no tense in the spiritual dimension. It is kind of eternally always present tense. Something like that we can do. So this is even further very difficult to understand. How we understand? When you do completely, when you go into the meditation, and when in the meditation, when you really get into the samadhi state, you will understand. Otherwise, we cannot understand this. This is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also saying. How will you understand this Krishna Puri Seva and what is this Srisi Leela going on? You cannot understand as long as you are in the material platform. You can understand only when you get into the samadhi state. Remember, actually, this whole Jaiva Dharma is also manifested in the trance of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So this is a totally different dimension that from the material realm we cannot understand. But anyway, so this living entity who has forgotten Krishna is suffering from Maya from time immemorial. And Maya is continuing to give those living entities the miseries of birth and death. Okay, now this slide is very important. So now Maya, once a jiva is caught into Maya, so she gives this, he surrounds that with the subtle body and the gross body and let it go and do karma. And this karma in the karmic world, birth, death, disease and old age, everything is all involved. And jiva gets entangled. So why jiva actually got entangled? Because of the independence. So the independence that really exercised. That's it. Is it a mistake? Never think like that. Don't think like that. We are all playing the part under the Lord's Srishti Leela. So when a devotee comes to that stage, what does he say? He does not say that I really, I should not be, I should be enjoying all the time, I should not fall down. No, a devotee will not say that. Why? Because the devotee is under the protection, under the control, and also he willingly participate in whatever Krishna wants on that jiva. So that's why he says, "Oh Lord, you can make me like an insect, or you can make me put it in hell or heaven, wherever, does not matter. Oh Lord, I want only one thing. I want bhakti for you." This is the real position. So, actually, in a nutshell, do not think that we made a mistake and or something. No, let it, whatever that happens, let that happen. And only thing what we need is we want bhakti. What we want bhakti, so that whatever Krishna wants, let him make use of us. This is the right position. But until then, we are under the control of the Maya. So Maya is a mother. She is really educating us to eventually go back to him. It's very, very intricate to understand. Anyway, some living entities stand their backs on Krishna and wanted to taste the material worlds with their material senses. Therefore, Maya Devi captured those living entities. Why does she capture these living entities and then give them miseries? Because the eternal nature of the living entities is to be slaves to Krishna. But they came down. This is the only thing. Because of the independence, they really came from the Nitya Dharma state to Anitya. Naimitika Dharma, that's why they are going through. There is nothing to worry about. Only thing to worry about is if I have devotion to bhakti for the Lord. Don't worry about whatever that happened. And in fact, those jivas who really are really made to really will come down like this, it has a freedom to really go all the way to the highest level. This is another thing that we can exercise if you are actually if you are actually thinking that, oh, I should really serve the Lord in the maximum position that I could really make him happy. That is Golaka Vrindavan. Because Vaikunta, you cannot really make the Lord that much happy. No. Because you are also trying to enjoy there. So there is a little difference there. So you have a freedom. It is in your hand to really go back all the way to the highest realm and be with Krishna, making him so happy. And in that process, of course, those jivas are going to be extremely happy, even happier, more happier than the Lord himself. So this we have to understand. It is tricky though. This is why we have to get into these meditations, in the sense, like when you really do this manasa seva, then your status is really going to be really elevated. A lot of your indriyas, everything will open up, and lot of the truth will actually manifest to you. This is what all our acharyas actually came to do, came to teach us. Anyway, so Mahavishnu is the source of the Tadastha Jivas, as we understand. So the Tadastha is the region between the material and spiritual skies. So if you really see the whole thing, Balarama, you see, because Bhagavan, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna becomes true Balaram and that's Radharani. Then let us see the Balaram. So now there are a lot of jivas coming from Balaram also. Not only Mula Shankarshan or Maha Shankarshan. So those jivas came from Balarama, they straight away went to Goloka. But those jivas who came from the Mula Shankarshan, they went to Madhura and Dwaraka. And those jivas came from Maha Shankarshan, they all went to Vaikuntha Loka. And those jivas came from Mahavishnu, that is the Tadastha. So those are the Tadastha Jivans. So this Tadastha Jivan had the independence to exercise. So the Mukta Jivas are those who really attracted by the spiritual world, and the Bhatta Jivas who are attracted to the material world. So there is something very tricky. So we talk about independence, and also we talk about random. So what is the real cause is Srishti Leela only. So we are all Bhatta Jivas. Don't think that we are actually stupid or something. No. We have the highest potency to really go back all the way back there. So what is this? The Tadastha Jivan can really go all the way to Goloka. That's the question I'm just putting here. Yes. All the souls ultimately belong to Krishna only. But due to their inclinations, they appear from Balarama, Mula Sankarshana, Maha Sankarshana and Mahavishnu. Okay, this is the important thing. Due to their inclination. Remember, there's a random thing happening. But actually, even though it is kind of a random, they look up or down, there is an inclination in the jiva. That inclination is a subtle thing that really acted to really look up or down. But it looks random. The way, if you look at the higher dimension, you can see, some jivas are going there and here, there, here. It is happening random in the higher sense. Shastras is correct. But there is the inclination in the jivas which is coming out of the independence, which is really independent. They appear from Balaram, or Mula Sankarshana, or Maha Sankarshana, or Mahavishnu. Every soul has Nitya Sitta Deha and its freedom. Siddha Deha cannot be changed. That Siddha Deha was given by the Lord. This is, see, Lord has given the Siddha Deha. Whatever the way He wants the Jiva to be really made, He made it. We cannot change it. If you really want, you see, because see, it's like so many different kinds of seeds are there. Mango seeds are there, apple seeds are there. So many different kinds of plants are there. Can you change the seed? No. You cannot really take the apple seed, the one seed, mango seed, and then plant everywhere, and then you are not going to get, oh, now I am looking for apple to be really coming. No, mango seeds, only mango will come. So that is determined by Krishna. You cannot change it. And that particular thing, whatever He has given, and that is really going to have a particular relation with Krishna, and in that Jiva will be the happiest. You understand? Siddha Deha, don't think that I got this Siddha Deha, I got a Gopa Baba, or I got a Dasya Baba. No problem at all. That is that is Krishna's wish. But those Siddha Deha who has Dasya Baba will not get satisfied in anything else other than Dasya. Like for example, take Hanuman. I used to give this a standard example all the time to explain. Because if you really take Hanuman to the Goloka, you serve as a gopi or manjari, he cannot even tolerate even a minute. Because every jiva will be happy only in the Siddha Deha that jiva has been made. Who made that? That is given by Lord Krishna. We have to understand this. Because if you understand these things, all the Shastras will be very clear for you to really read and really grasp. Do you understand now? Okay, so Siddha Deha is the one which is really making. But meanwhile, they have the freedom to do whatever they want. That is different. Freedom is different, but Siddha Deha, whatever they really, the way want, but they will be happy only in that particular Deha, that I told. But they also have a independence. They have a freedom. So that freedom is the way that how they want to serve. That is the only thing. That is why we have different manjaris or different kinds of personality. Remember, like Krishna made every jiva different. Every jiva different. One does not look like other. Because Krishna wants varieties. What if happens? Because the Srishti Leela is varieties. What if suppose, like in the manufacturing, big plant, everything coming out is same way, and every jiva is same, where is the fun? Where is the Srishti Leela? There is no Leela there. Everybody is going to do the same thing, everybody is going no, it's not. Everybody has the different independence is there, the way they express. As how they want to serve Krishna is different. That is the independence they have. Okay, so independence is, the independence of jiva is acting in so many ways. It is very intricate to understand. Okay, so Siddha Deha and independence there. And now they are really participating in the Srishti Leela, and we really came down, nothing to worry about. It's okay. We will be all going back. We will have to go through the sufferings because of this, this whatever the independence that we wrongly exercised, not a problem. But we all will actually go back. Nothing to worry about. But the only thing to worry about is sooner you go back is better. Because we will avoid so much of miseries. This is why gurus are coming. Hey, all right, now, you come back. You come back. You really took the wrong this thing because of your independence. Come back now. That's it. That is what. So, eventually when they meet a qualified guru coming from the spiritual dimension, they will automatically get attracted to those gurus when they really have clean. Remember, when they fall down, there are so many dirt, so many, the dirts are coming. That's what the anarthas. So we build a lot of anarthas. So when these gurus are coming, and then because of their teachings, our anarthas are actually going away. And then finally, eventually go back to wherever we are destined, depending on the Siddha Deha. This is why very important. Not everybody will be attracted to serving like a Gopa or Gopi or Manjari or things like that. No. Because Siddha Deha. Okay. But again, you may wonder, okay, how can the highest dimensional Siddha Deha can really fall down? It's not falling down. Falling down is actually just a lack of the exercising it in the right way. That's all it is. Any jiva can actually go through this, not a problem at all. But because of the Siddha Deha, they are most of them in the coming from Balaram, they are always eternally serving Radha Krishna. And whereas the others one, because of their independence, their level in serving to Radha Krishna is different. That is why they are destined to going to a Vaikunda or Dwaraka, like that they go. Okay. So if one Siddha Deha is not of Goloka, that soul will not get attracted to a guru coming from Goloka. This is the point I am trying to make. So yes, a jiva coming from Mahavishnu can go to Goloka, provided the Siddha Deha is destined to Goloka. Okay. Alright, now let us get back to some of the reading more. Krishna is the complete transcendental substance. Chitvastu. He is often compared to the sun of the spiritual realm. And the jivas are compared to the sun's atomic particles of light. Jivas are innumerable. When it is said that they are individual parts of Krishna, it does not mean that they are also exactly like the pieces of stone that form a mountain. So what that means is, this is exactly, I was just touching on that. So when you say a jiva is actually coming from this, they are not same. So it does not mean they are exactly like the pieces of stone that form a mountain. Although innumerable jivas emanate from Sri Krishna is not diminished by this even to the slightest extent. And at the same time, every jiva has a different independence and also there's a difference. So differences in the sense, jivas have difference, abheda from Bhagavan, and also jivas to jivas also abheda is there. So one jiva to another jiva, there is difference and also there is same. So there is difference. So when you really try to understand, there is a name for that. So there is a difference between Bhagavan and jiva, and also there is a difference between jiva to jiva, one jiva to another jiva, because Bhagavan is only one. So there is nothing like difference between Bhagavan and Bhagavan. It's not possible. So that's only one. So here you have many, and they also have differences. But that is again Krishna's will. So for the reason the Vedas have compared the jivas in one respect to sparks emanating from a fire, in reality no adequate comparison can be made. Because some spark may be little different. Bigger, little bigger. So even there is a difference there. But in quality it is same. So there is no comparison. In reality, no adequate comparison can be made. Whether to sparks or a blazing fire, atomic particles within the rays of the sun is still not a good comparison. Whatever the example we give is not completely appropriate. This is what Babaji was explaining. So the true nature of the jiva is easily revealed in the heart, but only when the mundane conception of this comparison is given up. See, that is what. If as long as we are in the material world, our consciousness is really bound to this material world, we cannot really understand the spiritual dimension. This is what, that same thing again, what I was just touching there. But on the other hand, because all the living beings belong to the Lord, Krishna is like the sun, and living beings are like the rays of the sun, of the light. So even if his living beings fall down, by his mercy he sends help so that the living beings can return to the spiritual worlds. So every jiva will one day return back to him. The only question is, when? See, when a devotee comes to the Uttama level, he sees this truth. What is the truth? Oh, he is a demon. Oh, he is doing all kinds of nonsense, this, everything. But he will understand. Everybody is actually playing the role in the part of the Srishti Leela of the Lord. So he understands he has nothing to teach, nothing to preach. He sees everybody is same. This is the higher level of conception. That is why Uttama Adhikari will never want to even preach. He has to come down to the Madhyama Adhikari level to really preach. So this is the very important to understand. Because as long as you think that we are all, every jiva is participating in the Srishti Leela of the Lord only, you basically just, shut up your mouth basically. No preaching, nothing. You just only relish the mellow of the prema that you really have for the Lord. That is the only thing that will be going. Okay? Alright. So now, Krishna is infinite spiritual substance. He is Brihat Chit Vastu. Brihat Chit Vastu means infinite. Brihat means infinite. Chit means spiritual. Vastu means substance. Whereas the jivas are infinitesimal. Infinitesimal means smaller. Anu Chit Vastu. So the oneness of Krishna and the jivas lies in their spiritual nature. That is Chit Dharma. But they are undoubtedly different as well, because their natures are complete and incomplete respectively. Their natures are different. Krishna is the eternal Lord of the jivas, and the jivas are Krishna's eternal servants. This interrelationship is natural. Nityam. Krishna is the attractor, and the jivas are attracted. Krishna is the supreme ruler, and the jivas are ruled. Krishna is the observer, and the jivas are observed. Krishna is the complete whole, and the jivas are poor and insignificant. Krishna is the possessor of all potency, and the jivas are devoid of potency. In the sense, very minute. Therefore, the eternal swabhava or dharma of the jiva is Krishna dasya. Eternal service and obedience to Krishna. So Krishna is endowed with unlimited potencies. His complete potency are called Purna Shakti. He is perceived in the manifestation of the spiritual world, Chit Jagat. So now let us talk about, so similarly, Lord Krishna is one of the marginal potencies called Tadastha Shakti. So Tadastha, if you see in the picture, Bhagavan is there in the spiritual dimension. But then you have the universe that is coming down, all the material worlds are in the bottom. In between is Tadastha. The Tadastha Shakti or the marginal potency is observed in the manifestation of the jivas. we are talking about actually, when we say jivas, particularly we are really, mostly the scriptures are talking about those jivas coming from Mahavishnu. Even though I told that jivas coming from Balaram, actually we should not literally call them as jivas because they are all associates. They are actually associates. They are in the high level already. So again, who decides that? Who decides about that Siddhadeka? Krishna decides that. We don't have any question. We cannot do anything. But anyway, a special potency acts in assembling the finite world, that is Apurna Jagat, and this potency is known as the Sadhasta Sakti. So the action of the marginal potency is to create an entity, that is Vastu, which exists between the animate objects, that is Siddhvastu, and inanimate object called Achitvastu, and which can maintain a relationship with both the spiritual and the material worlds. What is that? That is what the jivas we are talking about, who are coming from Mahavishnu's belly. Purely transcendental entities are by nature quite the opposite of inanimate objects. Right? You see that. And therefore have no connection whatsoever with them. So that means those who have achieved those who are in the spiritual dimension, they have no connection with this material world. Okay, so this is something again deeper that Babaji is telling. But anyway, so we'll just go ahead. Now again, about the Tadastha Sakti, we have Bhagavan, spiritual world, they are in the spiritual dimension. Then you have material world, and those jivas living in the material world, there are a lot of material things, atoms, molecules, these, there are jada. But then the third thing is the jivas. So Bhagavan is spiritual dimension is one. Then you have material world, that the Prakriti, and all the elements, everything is separate. That is that is not the internal energy of the Lord, but it's the external energy of the Lord. But in between is something that is Tadastha. That is what Jiva Sakti. These are the jivas. So the boundary region between, so how to understand the Tadastha Sakti? This is the example that that Babaji is telling. So take for example, you have land and also the sea. So what is the Tadastha? Tadastha means it is neither land or neither water, or either land or either water. So there is an invisible boundary region between the land and the water of a river or ocean is known as Tata. Tata means shore. This Tata may be considered to be both land and water. In other words, it is situated in both, in one way. So the divine Aisi Sakti, which is situated in the border region, upholds the properties of both land and water, as it were, in one existential entity. So the jiva's nature is spiritual, but still his composition is such that it's weak, so it can be controlled by jada. So sometimes he is in the jada, he is in the sand or land, or sometimes he is in the water. But the jiva's eternal nature is spiritual. But because he is coming from the Tadastha region, he has an option of mixing here and there. Sometimes completely in land, sometimes completely in the water, and sometimes in between is possible. But not permanently here, permanently, because he does not belong permanently to the land. Why? Because he is by eternal nature, he is spiritual substance. Okay? So, why then jada is touching? Because of his composition is such that he can become controlled by jada dharma, the inert nature. Therefore, the Baddha Jivas, also called conditioned soul, is not beyond all the connections with matter, unlike the Jivas in the spiritual domain. See, those who are in the Vaikunta, they have no connection with matter at all. That is why those Jivas never can fall down from Vaikunta, because there is no connection with matter at all. There is no Maya. But those Jivas, there in the Tadasthas, are the one who are really, they really go, what is the touching they are talking about? They may even go to Brahman. Go to Brahman, but again Brahman is not also permanent. They will again fall down. So they are basically they are in between, caught by the Maya. Because of this, their power, insignificant potency. Nonetheless, he is distinct from dull matter because of his animate spiritual nature. Because the jada is inanimate. It's jada. It doesn't move. It doesn't have any consciousness. Now, since the jiva is by nature different from both the purely spiritual entities and the dull matter, he is classified as a separate principle. That is why you have Bhagavan and then Prakriti and jivas in between. And jiva is different from Bhagavan, and jiva is completely different from the Prakriti. So jiva by nature is spiritual. But only because of the weakness, jada is really taking over. So the jiva gets attraction to the jada. So part of the Srishti Leela, these jivas are really made in such a way that they really come and then they really do all these wonderful things. So many galaxies and so many clusters, so many super clusters, so many wonderful things that the Lord is actually making. And they are just dancing like a puppet under the hands of Maya. That's the thing. Now let us see, let us put together in a diagram. Bhagavan is the supreme ruler of Maya. Okay? Bhagavan controls Maya. He is completely under. So that Maya is the one, that is his own external potency which creates bewilderment, which is under his full control, of course. It's not Bhagavan comes from Maya. The Jiva, on the other hand, may under certain circumstances be controlled by Maya, for he is subject to its influence. Hence, because of these three principles, Bhagavan, Jiva and Maya are real. This is the Paramarthika Satya. It's a truth and it is eternal. Of these three, Bhagavan is the supreme eternal principle and is the foundation of the other principles. So that's why in the Sri Katha Upanishad, there is a line coming, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. So he is the supreme eternal among all the eternals and the fundamental sentiment being among all sentient being among all the sentient things. But the Jiva is by nature both an eternal servant of Krishna and a representation of his marginal potency. This demonstrates that the Jiva is distinct from Bhagavan, yet at the same time is not separate from him. This is where so many philosophies are there. But what is important is different and non-different. Veda, Abeda, Prakasha. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. So you have Manoism, remember the Advaita, Dvaita, all kinds of, and also there are so many different philosophies are there. 6 kinds of major philosophies are there too. But nothing is really truth. So the truth is Veda, Abeda, Prakasha. That means Jiva is in many ways same as Bhagavan. At the same time, it also has differences from Bhagavan. That's why it is a separate entity, so separate kind of entity as this. So you have Bhagavan, you have Maya, in between is Jiva. That is Tadasa Shakti. Okay, so Jiva by his constant, so Jiva is subject to domination by Maya, whereas Bhagavan is the controller of Maya. So that is the eternal distinction between Jiva and Bhagavan is, Jiva is weaker. It is same in many ways with Bhagavan, but at the same time it has a lot of differences. Okay, all right. So now we touched on why Jivas fell under Maya. When did this happen? We also just touched. Okay, now again Babaji is actually proceeding with that. The fall of the Jiva does not take place within the context of material time, beyond Kala. So accordingly, the words Anadi Bahirmukha are used, meaning that the Jiva has been diverted since time without beginning. So when you are actually doing differentiations, you say, you put an equation and say t tending to 0. Whatever the expression that you have, then you are saying the t is now 0. So then the differentiation actually works on. So you get a different expression. Something like that you have to understand. So you see whatever that is there and then apply the time tending to t tending to 0. That means what? That is the expression. That means all the creation Leela, all the Tadasa Shakti, all the things are actually happened that time. This is mathematically. So from the moment of this diversion and the Jiva's entry into Maya, his Nitya Dharma become perverted. This is what finally the coming to the Nitya versus Anitya. Therefore, by the association of Maya, the Jiva develops Nisarga. Swabhava, Param Swabhava is there supposed to be there with Krishna's eternal servant. But because of the independence, that because of the weakness, Maya got in and now Jiva develops Nisarga. So this awkward nature. So it really now displays the temporary function. And that disposition is known as Naimitika Dharma. Okay. So that's why the Krishna Bodhi says Jeva Anadi Bhagirmukha. I already explained that one. So the Bhatta Jiva who is averse to Krishna has been preoccupied with why the word averse is coming is because they had the independence and then they wanted to enjoy also. There is a little, because what the independence means? I want to enjoy this way, that way. So because of the potency inside, so it was all coming through this Sadhasta. That's all it is. But again, we are all playing the part of Yusuristi Leela anyway. So the Nitya Dharma is one, indivisible. But the Naimitika Dharma is temporary functions, assume many different forms, in different circumstances. And when it is described in various ways by men of divergent opinions like that. So now what is that? Diverse circumstances and what is the diverse objects? Because of the way he really performs karma, the way he really has the independent exercise to enjoy this material world. Because of that, 8.4 million kinds of species are available for him to, as a diverse circumstances, to really go and exploit whatever he wants to do. Depending on his whatever he wants to do. So what is karma? Karma is what you do. What you do because you want to do that. So now if you want to do that, that is you are exercising your independence. I am taking a gun and then trying to really kill somebody. That is your karma. But then there is a consequence. And you want to eat meat because I am actually out of control all the way. I am controlled by sense because I am a sense Maya. Sense dasa, I am actually the dasa of my senses. I cannot control, so I eat meat. But that is the karma is done. Because of the karma, you will be born as an animal now. Or you will be born in the Arctic place. That's what Shastra says. If one eats too much of meat, you'll be put into be born in the Arctic, the coldest region, minus 85 degrees centigrade. Yeah, there you have to eat only meat. Yeah, go there and suffer. You eat meat there. Because you are not changing. So this is the problem with the karma. So now we are entangled. We have to come out of this. So while the Nitya Dharma of the Jiva is servitorship to Krishna, and when is the eternal servant of Krishna, when he forgets and then he have inclination to enjoy Maya, he is subjected to the tyranny of Maya. And from that very moment he diverted to Krishna. And then what happens? Birth, disease, old age, death. Birth, disease, old age, death. So many planets are there waiting for you to be born. You born in the womb of probably insect or a cat or a cow, or cow is better in a way. Dog or whatever it is, you keep on going, and this does not end. There is no end to that at all. This is the reality. And in those who have been caught in the tyranny of Maya because of my stupid thing that I wanted to enjoy, out of my independence, I really had developed little inclination to enjoy this material world by eating meat and these and all kinds of things. I am getting into this bond and again. And so this is our pitiable position. But the jivas appear to be ignorant about this truth and condition, but it's not correcting. It thinks that it thinks that this suffering is natural. This world, everybody is suffering. These Bhatta Jivas are trapped in the Naimitika Dharmas. Therefore, they only experience suffering. What is Naimitika Dharmas? Being born in countless births in the material world and not knowing one's own form. The thought of that the body is one, you thinking, I am the body. And then thinking that, my relatives are real. This world is real. But what is the truth? We have taken crores and crores and crores or millions of bodies. We have seen millions of relatives. But everything is a lie. That is Naimitika, not Nitya. In every birth, only our worries are true. It does not matter how rich you are. It does not matter how many homes you have. It does not matter how big home you have. It does not matter how nice sofa you have. It does not matter how many degrees you have. It does not matter how many relatives you have. Only thing you are going to be going through is suffering after suffering after suffering. Suffering comes in many ways. Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidevika. So many ways. Suffering are designed to be in this material world. But you think that it is pleasure. You think it is pleasure. This is the ignorance that the jivas are going through. This is why gurus are coming down and then telling, hey, wake up. What are you doing here? You change your independence. You surrender your independence back to Krishna. That is what bhakti means. When do you surrender your independence to Krishna? You take these tulasi malas. When you take, you are giving away your independence. That is the time you are now turning back. So, right? Through Guru, when you really take Diksha from Guru, what happens? That is the turning point. Now you are looking towards Krishna. Not Bahirmukha, Unmukha. You are seeing towards Krishna now. Because the Guru capturing you and then giving, yes, look at here, I am putting a collar belt. Now you belong to Krishna, not to the Yamadudas. Here you go. Now you turn here. You read this. You do sadhana. You do chanting. This everything, and finally you will be relieved back to the Nitya Dharma state. But why all these things are happening? That is Krishna's will. But what we should do? We should go back, throw this independence out, and be a dog for Krishna. That is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there is a song. We really did a harikatha about that. Actually, bhajana katha did that. I want to be, oh Lord, I want to be a dog for you. I will be always, waiting for your remnant. I will be always making sure that you are always happy. I will be serving. I will give my life, because dog gives its own life to save the master. Anyway, having spoken thus, Paramahamsa Babaji stopped and began to chant Sri Harinama, Japa. Hearing this explanation of spiritual truths, Sannyasi Thakura offered prostrated obeisances and said, "O Prabhu, I shall deliberate on all these topics today." Because he thought he had a lot of things to chew. Tomorrow I shall submit at your lotus feet any questions that may arise. So, as a summary, what did we today? We have three vastus. They are permanent. Nityam, Bhagavan, Jivas, and Maya, Prakriti. So Jivas appear from Bhagavan from his Antaranga Sakti. Maya or Prakriti appears from the Bahiranga Sakti of Bhagavan. All the Jada Lokas are the manifestation of his Prakriti. Bhagavan is an unlimited Vastu, Brigas Sit Vastu. Bhagavan is all powerful, Purnam. Om Purnamada Purnam Idam Purnad Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. Jiva is an limited, minute Vastu, Anuchit Vastu. Jiva is weak. It has a tendency to really enjoy for himself. There is a tendency there because of weakness. And Bhagavan and Jiva, one in nature, but very different in quantity. By quality same, but in quantity different. And also, we see difference between Bhagavan and Jiva we see, and between Jiva to Jiva also there is difference. So Bhagavan and Jiva is one in nature but very different in quantity, to the extent. Bhagavan, for all living entities, he is a soul. He is a soul, he is a Lord, and he is a controller. And all the beings, all the Jivas are attracted. Actually not the beings, everything is attracted. Even Jada is also attracted by Bhagavan. That is why he is called Krishna. Krishna means all attracted. He is attracted by everything. So Jiva is a servant of Bhagavan. Servant of Krishna. This is the eternal dharma of the Jivas. That is the Jiva dharma we are talking about. Or some people call Jiva Sanatana dharma. But Jiva dharma and Sanatana dharma is same. But when they say Sanatana Dharma, they may not really understand with the truth, complete truth. This is why even after falling down in this material world due to our intrinsic nature, we do only do service. Why? Because Jiva is a servant. So Jiva is a servant. That's why the Jiva Dharma says that Jiva Dharma is servant of Bhagavan. So that is why even if you really fall down, your intrinsic nature does not go away. Even though you are trying to enjoy here. But what will you do? What are you doing? You are trying to enjoy by doing service only. Why? How? We are serving our own body and senses. We are serving our relatives, serving our boss, serving our children. Even a president is serving his citizens. So we do only service anyway. So it's a service industry. But we do it for the wrong persons and for wrong purpose. We do our service. If we do the service only for the Lord, then it is Nitya Dharma. Then it is called Jiva Dharma. All living beings eventually reach the spiritual world I was talking. But the only question is when. When by the grace of a Guru, a living being realizes that he is actually an eternal servant of Sri Krishna, but he really somehow really got wrong somewhere, then he awakens. And he will automatically be searching for somebody to help. Because we cannot do by ourselves. Because we are all fell down into a well. We cannot really jump out by ourselves. So Krishna sends gurus to bring back the fallen jivas. That is part of his leela. Tatvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya ubadekshyandi de jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. That means you have to surrender to a guru so that we can go back to Krishna. That guru will take care. You just listen to whatever he wants you to do. But many jivas make fool of themselves by saying that they do not need a guru. That is their problem. So now we will conclude. So in short, like I posted as a blog also, a small message also, we have only one problem to deal with. Only one problem. That is to rectify our mistake and go back to Krishna. This world is bound to give problems after problems after problem. You cannot stop it. You cannot really find a time where, there is no problem. No. Problem is full, all the problem is there, but they are not the real problem. Problem is that we should find a way to constantly engage in seva to Guru and say Radha Krishna Yugala. That is the only problem that we have, that a Guru can give. So thank you so much. Vanja kalpa dharubhyacha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. All glories to Srila Gurudev. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Parampara. Hare Krishna.